What up? What it is? What's poppin', family? It's the neighborhood nice guy, K Dot, and I have none other than my most illustrious host, Lolo, with me, and welcome back to another episode of Keeping It 9450, code name WBB. First things first, I do want to salute my queen over here, my sister. How are you doing this evening, Lo?
I'm doing great. I'm black and I'm blessed. The two best things to be. I can't complain.
Absolutely. I can't complain as well. We got a great show for everybody tonight, and it's all about performances that turned heads. We're shifting the narratives a little bit, and we're probably going to change that little ranking that everybody has been talking about in the last 48 to 72 hours in regards to who's the best in the W right now. But without further ado, before we get started, let's go ahead and pay some bills. Tonight's episode has been brought to you by SeatGeek. Whether it's courtside at any W game or front row at your favorite concert, SeatGeek has you covered. Use the code the 9450 for $20 off your first ticket purchase. Score the moment with SeatGeek. Now, got a not too much of an action-packed show for you tonight, but we got some pretty good topics to talk about. We're going to first kind of jump into the return of Caitlin Clark. She was phenomenal on Saturday versus the New York Liberty. We're also going to talk about Angel Reese in her first career triple-double and doing big things versus the Connecticut Sun, and as well as me bounds. Yes, we will be talking about me bounds tonight. And then, of course, finally, we will be getting into a little bit of a discussion when it comes to who's the best in the W. So keep it locked in with us. We have so much great content to, kind of drop. And, we're going to jump right into it, Lo. I'm, of course, very, very enamored, of course, from what I've seen out of Caitlin Clark, her, first year in the league and then coming into now. And unfortunately, missing 5 games with the quad injury, in her last game being against the then undefeated New York Liberty and it going down to the wire. Natasha Cloud stealing the ball to seal the game. Of course, that led with tons of dialogue and discourse about
Hmm.
how that was played. But she returned on Saturday and she didn't disappoint at all.
No.
So after missing the 5 games with the quad injury, she returned against the then again undefeated New York Liberty and dropped a smooth 32, had 7 threes, dished 9 assists, and had 8 rebounds. Yes, that's a real stat line. And now, on top of that, she had 25 in the first half alone. And she
Yeah.
went on her own like little 9-0 run, like almost late in the first quarter or something like that. So it was like her presence, first off, was totally energetic for the Gainbridge Fieldhouse crowd. You could feel it. You can feel it through the TV. You can feel the moment. You can feel the sense of urgency from Indiana as they dropped a couple games while she was out and all of that. So it all shifted once she returned to the court. So takeaways from this game, takeaways from your assessment of Caitlin Clark's return, because of course, when we talked about it, we kind of knew that she was gonna, do some things. But what are your thoughts on this game in particular? And what are your thoughts on Caitlin Clark's return?
I mean, what a hell of a game to come back. Like what a hell of a performance. Like what just a great performance all around. Like you said, 32 points, 9 assists, 8 boards. Shooting 14 times from long distance is kind of nuts for one person, but when you hitting it at a 50% clip, shoot on, sister, shoot on. And it was just unfortunate for the Liberty because Caitlin was on such a heater, it was nothing anyone could do. Anyone that they were putting in front of her, it didn't matter. Like I think we all saw the moment where she hit an incredible shot from like 35 feet or something like that, and her and Stewie are pushing each other, going back up and running back down on the floor. And even Stewie's just like, I mean, what can you do? What can you do at that point when you're hitting 35 and 40 foot, shots? It's hard to defend. Like she was just on an absolute heater. Like That was great basketball to watch. Like, take all of the extra stuff that comes out with this whole Caitlin Clark thing. Like when we just talking about pure basketball, that was a special game to watch because 7 3-pointers like against a very good team. And I do want to back it up a little bit because some of the Fever fans, yes, celebrate the win. You guys deserve it. You beat an undefeated team. But I also want to be very clear. This is not a fully loaded New York Liberty team either, because a lot of people were in my TikTok comments saying you can't take this game with a grain of salt, and it's like I'm congratulating the Fever for a win because you got to take advantage of your opportunities regardless of who's on the other side of the ball, regardless of who's suiting up. So, great win for them, but are we forgetting that JJ had 26 and 12 that last game? And you tweeted it a while ago, or maybe last week, you tweeted it and said when JJ has been a part of the New York Liberty and she has had a double double, they are 27 and 0. So that alone shows her importance for that team. So for people to act like they beat a fully loaded team, it's like, come on now, y'all. Like JJ is the X factor, and also Phoebus is not there. And that changes a lot of dynamics for the New York Liberty because Kennedy Burke, who has been playing at a stellar level coming off the bench, playing at I would say sixth player of the year, sixth woman of the year so far this year, shooting 54% from the field. And let me put that in context for y'all. She's coming off the bench shooting 54%. She's in the top four WNBA players throughout the whole league in field goal percentage shooting. That's how great she is coming off the bench. So now you're putting her in a different role than she's used to playing. She's now starting, and then as a result of that, the Liberty got smoked from, in regards to their bench play. 20 points to 12. The Indiana Fever scored 20 points off the bench compared to the Liberty's 12. And I think you see that because Kennedy Burke is now was starting instead of coming off the bench. So I think it threw things, I think it muddied the water a little bit for them. Sabrina had a good game. Stewie had a good game, but they just needed someone else to step up. Natasha Cloud didn't shoot well that game. So the others didn't quite carry them. And I think it's two starters down, not a bad loss in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially when Caitlin went on it, like she had a master class. For lack of a better word, she had an absolute master class. So you just gotta hang your hat and say, damn, like she just wasn't missing. It's really nothing you can do when people are hitting 40 foot, when you're hitting it from 40 feet and it's not even it's not even touching the rim. It's just hitting all net. Like it's not much you can do for that. But hell of a game for Caitlin. I think I love her scoring. I love her ability to shoot the long ball. But my favorite part of her game, and I've been saying it since she was in college, is her passing. Like just an elite passer. Like one of the best to do it, and she's only in her year two. Like she will go down, and I said it before, she will go down as one of the best passing guards or just one of the best passers in WNBA history, period. She just has good vision, like really, really good vision and really good anticipation skills. Sometimes she gets a little bit too aggressive with it, but just great vision. I mean, what more can you say? What a hell of a game to come back to, honestly. Like, just played great all the way around. Kelsey Mitchell helped her with 22 points, scoring as well. That's what I got. I mean, great hoops, honestly. Great hoops.
Yeah, I 1000% agree with you because it's indeed great hoops, and Caitlin Clark is indeed a phenomenal basketball player because just like you said, like when you talk about the passing, there were some backdoor cut
Yeah,
passing that I was like, how is she even reading this before a Kelsey, before Alexi, before
right.
Sophie even cuts
Right. Before
baseline?
they even make their move.
Like it was amazing to see, and I want to give a lot of credit to Aaliyah Boston as well. Just being an anchor, I know that she didn't have the best from a number standpoint, but when you are a presence the way that you are, and you
Yeah.
taking advantage with no JJ being out there, like that's how you take advantage, no matter what your box score looks like. She did a great job with the short roll, understanding how to manipulate New York's defense. Natasha Cloud had a time out there trying to navigate through that. And like you said, she didn't have the best offensive game as well. A lot of that changes with a new type of regime looking without a JJ and without a Leone Phoebus in the starting lineup. So when you
Yeah,
have a Kennedy Burke, starting, when you have a Niar Sabali starting, a lot of that looks very, very different. So of course they had Leone Phoebus against Connecticut before this Indiana game. So a lot of that dynamic from a defensive perspective changed.
quickly.
Yet still, we're still talking about the New York Liberty, who a lot of people still thought that they could sneak a win out there. Like
Yeah,
we're not gonna just sit here and kind of play that blame game per se,
yeah.
even though they were down two starters, they were still kind of sort of the favorite, if you look at it. But a phenomenal job from Indiana because
Yeah.
they knew what was at stake. This is a Commissioner's Cup game. First
Hmm.
off, Commissioner's Cup, a 14-point win. That bodes well in the rankings. Now,
Hmm.
Indiana is number one in that ranking right now. So there are a couple of scenarios for the New York Liberty to to keep that number one spot. And if they don't keep that number one spot, either Atlanta or Indiana is going to make that Commissioner's Cup final. And we're talking about 500K. We're talking
We
about
talk
bread
about
on the
big
line,
bread, right?
big bread on the line. So that point differential matter, the points matter, the way that you win matters. So it was a phenomenal win, a statement win, in my opinion, for the Indiana Fever. And this is my take on this. It's these type of wins that turn seasons around from going 500 to going maybe 8, 9, or 10 games over 500 because it's
Mm,
that type of confidence that you need in order to beat other teams. If you can go in and say, "Oh, I can beat the Lynx of the world. I can beat the Liberties of the
yeah.
world." Everybody else is right up under them trying to chase those two teams. So if you have that confidence to beat those type of squads, like we saw with the Seattle Storm the other night, beating the Lynx, it really really sets that precedent. But I got to give credit to Indiana and what Caitlin Clark did. Like she was just straight up cooking.
Cooking.
Before we hop over to the next topic, I do want to talk about New York's defense a little bit. Presence is very, very important. And you felt that presence or loss of presence
Yeah.
in John Quell Jones and Leone Phoebus. Length is very, very important.
Hmm.
Versatility is very, very important to the Liberty, and they didn't have it. You know that their talent will keep them in the game, bar none. When you have a Stewie, when you have a Saab, when you have a Natasha Cloud, like talent is definitely going to keep you in the game. However, when you have different strategies and different schemes, that's not working in a pristine manner because you don't have the necessary personnel to go out there to help fit that. Losses like this happen.
Yeah.
But I have to, give credit again to the Indiana Fever in their scheme. Let's let's be reminded as well. They were also without Dewana Bonner. That's
Yep.
very, very important. And you have to give credit to Lexi Hall for stepping up. You have to give credit to Sophie Cunningham for stepping up. You have to give credit to Damaris Dantas stepping up. Like these type players and Sydney Colson, like these are the type of players that step up for you when your starters are out. And we didn't see that with the New York Liberty, and maybe the rotation should have been stretched out a little bit. Yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
it's early in the season. Yeah, I know it's a Commissioner's Cup game, but go ahead and tinker on those lineups. Jalen Sherrod, in my opinion, I felt like could have played and spared a little bit of those minutes for Natasha Cloud.
Yeah.
Just being a pest.
I was gonna say it would at least gave a different look because Natasha was
Yeah,
out there getting cooked, like
yeah,
cooked,
yeah.
and I
She was just
think
having a
part
bad
of it,
game. Yeah,
yeah, she was just having an all around bad game, offensively and defensively, and I think a part of it was also like you said, the length of Phoebage and JJ not being out there to kind of back her up with it, you know.
yeah,
So, because if you look at the first game, she was giving Caitlyn fits, like. She was
absolutely.
making it, she was very physical with her. She was making it very, very difficult for her to score. And Caitlyn didn't have a great game the last time they played because of Natasha Cloud's defense. So before the game even started, I tweeted out and I said, I can't wait to see the matchup between them two because I know it gets physical. I know it's just usually good hoops, but it was one sided. Like Caitlyn was
Yeah,
just cooking her,
cooking.
cooking her.
cooking.
So I would have
And
threw somebody else out there just to see,
yeah,
you know.
like I said, a Jalen, who's definitely been a star in her role in limited minutes. Of course, when they're blowing teams out, she's in there and she's being who she needs to be. I want to see a little bit more of Marquisha Davis. Like I like that they drafted Marquisha Davis last year, and
And then do nothing with her.
I want to see a little bit more minutes. Like, and yeah, this isn't me talking as a coach, as a scout, as an analyst. Like, this is literally I'm being completely honest. This is me being a fan of Marquisha. I like what she brings to the table, like another physical, lengthy guard,
Yeah.
someone who can go downhill, enforce kind of like the issue. I think she's matured enough to get some minutes. But again, this is the New York Liberty we're talking about. We're talking about a loaded
Yeah.
team. There's only going to be but so many minutes. I truly, truly understand that. But just the fan in me wants to kind of see, her play a little bit more. And, we hopefully, we'll get some more of her in the, coming weeks, especially, uh, with the schedule that New York has.
I
But
have a quick question. I got to go back and watch the game because I was just so enamored by Caitlyn that I wasn't really paying attention to like the type of defense where they were sending. Were they sending to or hard hedging at all? Like I don't I remember seeing a lot of like just straight up one on one.
it was straight up 1-on-1 and it was a lot of switching.
Okay, yeah,
A
that's
lot
what I
of switch.
thought.
There wasn't too many hard. The reason why you can't hard hedge on Caitlyn
Because now
is
she knows now too.
she kills you
She does.
in the short roll. And Aaliyah
Yeah,
Boston is the worst. I'm talking about the worst player to if you're the defense, you don't want to be on that end. You
yeah,
just don't. You just don't. Aaliyah Boston
yeah.
is just too good for that. And what they did was they did a lot of switching. They bumped her out a lot towards half court to try to keep her from gaining momentum.
And she was just
Yet
pulling it from
it
there
did not work. It didn't work.
because she was
Like
pulling it from damn near half court.
the length, and this is where the length comes in. The first game, mind you, Leonie Fibich only played 7 minutes in that game, but it was
Hmm.
her length that just kept Caitlin thinking. She didn't know whether to pull up, she didn't know
Hmm.
whether to pass. And it was a couple times in that third quarter. Obviously, New York have horrible third quarters, but it was a couple times in that first game in that third quarter where the short roll was just killing the New York Liberty, and they just didn't have an answer for it until they put Natasha Cloud on her to go full court.
Yeah.
They couldn't do that this time around. You need Natasha to run the offense as well.
Hmm.
So by that happening, and then you didn't see a lot of Beck. Uh, you didn't see a lot of her on Caitlyn either, which she has great length. But shoot, Kelsey Mitchell was giving her fits.
Yeah. She was incredible.
So it was one of those situations where it's like, nah, we got to switch everything,
Right.
and they got cooked. They truly got cooked. They were literally looking stunned out there. But again, their talent kept them in the game
Yeah.
until the fourth quarter. But shout out to the Indiana Fever for sure, and shout out to Caitlin Clark. They did their big one.
They did.
So with that being said, I want to jump right into our next star, and that's Angel Reese because against the Connecticut Sun, she recorded her very first triple double. She looked pristine out there, handling the ball off the rebound. A lot of people on social media was saying this is what a taller Alyssa Thomas looks like. They enjoyed what they saw from Angel Reese, a more aggressive Angel Reese from a playmaking standpoint. We're talking about something. We're talking about a growth from a playmaking standpoint, where she's always had playmaking ability,
Yeah.
but you could just see the growth from a playmaking standpoint right in the flesh. and they were able to break their slump and beat the Connecticut Sun. Um, and it was just an amazing game to watch. So looking at it in real time, like for her to do that on the offensive end and still be a pest on the defensive end and being a great communicator on the defensive end, it helped out the guards a lot. Like she bailed the guards out a
And
lot
did. And did.
in this game, and you have to give her credit for that. 11 points, 13 boards, 13 assists. Um, you know, and it was something where she just controlled the entire game. Like it clicked for her, and hopefully we continue to see that. I think that Coach Tyler Marsh coached a magnificent game. I know it was kind of rough in the beginning of that game, but I think he adjusted well. Yes, it's the Connecticut Sun, and yes, they were actually fully healthy, if I'm not mistaken, for the first time.
Sanaya Rivers didn't play.
Well, Sanaya didn't play, so I apologize for that. Now from what I understood, Sanaya could have played.
Got
But I
it.
think they were holding. I think they were just holding. I think it was just more
Like
of a coach's
precautionary
decision.
type of thing.
Yeah, from a precautionary standpoint. So apologies. They weren't fully healthy, but the players that weren't playing, they were able to get them back, like a Lindsey Allen,
Yeah.
Olivia Nelson Adota. Like they were able to come back.
Yeah.
So I just think going back to Chicago, Angel Reese did a magnificent job. You can just feel her leadership, not just vocally, but again, showing her willingness to be, a great playmaker on the offensive end, both defensive end. So, what are your thoughts on that one?
I think every time they have something to say about Angel, she just doubles down and does her big one. Every single time they talk trash about her because she was missing layups and she was on the Vogue cover. At the Met Gala. They talk trash about her for winning the BET Awards. So what I'm gonna do? Come out and drop a triple double. Like absolutely love that for her because this young lady has been getting dog piled on for the last week. And now y'all really got something to talk about. Like they hate this girl so much. I see people nitpicking a triple double K dot. Nitpicking. You cannot suck at basketball and record a triple double. So y'all could go ahead and throw that narrative out the window. It's no way you can suck at basketball and record a triple double. Fun fact, Angel is the second youngest person to record a triple double in WNBA history, following behind Caitlin Clark. And I think a lot of Chicago fans are very pissed at Tyler, for I don't want to say for good reason. Like, can some of the blame be placed on him based on how they have started this year? Absolutely. I think everyone deserves blame. The front office, the players, Tyler, everyone over there, right? But one thing I will say about him, I think we see Tyler really in his bag and transitioning the Angel into, like, I don't want to say a point forward because she's not like a true point guard or anything like that, but someone that can handle the ball and pretty much make decisions on the fly. And so all year so far for the last 11 games, we've been saying that Angel's playmaking has looked a lot better this year. And we saw it on full display this last game. I mean, she was just in her absolute bag, making passes that I didn't even know she was capable of making, having vision that I didn't even know she could anticipate or see. And it's like, maybe instead of forcing her to be on the block right now where it's crowded with her and Camilla, I like her playing more in open space where she can make the right decisions. And in this game in particularly, every time, more times than not, she made the right play. Like whether
Absolutely.
it was getting the ball out of her hand quickly, whether it was shooting the ball, whether it was whatever it calls for, she was right there making the right play. And I think this game is just tipping the iceberg for Angel and what she can do moving forward. Like I think this was a good confidence builder for her because she knows that she hasn't been playing well. Like everyone knows offensively she has not been playing well. So instead of, making her pound the ball in the paint where she doesn't really have that many counter moves to her, the little move that she, her little half spin type of move that she does. Instead of just having her get lost down there and the ball getting blocked because she's bringing it from down so, down from so low, have her in space and playmaking because she can get her shot when she wants. She can take you off the dribble. We've seen that a few times now. And then she can also pass the ball and play make. So I like her in this role. And I'm not saying that she shouldn't still work on her offensive game. I mean, in practice, you see all the videos that they're getting out all the time. She's actively working on her game offensively. Like whether people want to admit it or not, she is. And so until that part of her game catches up, why not utilize her in this way? Because she can clearly do it. You know, she can clearly do it. And so we saw a little bit of her playmaking also in Unrivaled. And I'm just glad that we're able to see it on full display now. And I know the night was about Angel, but I also got to shout out Haley Van Lith. Like, great minutes from the rookie,
Facts.
16 points, like
Facts.
just aggressively looking for her shot, aggressively going to the basket. Like, do I think that she can take up the starting point guard role in Sloot's absence? I'm still on the fence about it because we saw how Sister did against that SEC defense last year. And I'm still a little bit of nervous. I'm still a little nervous how she would do if, a point guard that's going to guard you 94 feet, like someone like a Dana Evans is on her, or somebody like an Alicia Gray, or shoot, even a Maya Caldwell, like somebody that's just gonna be Odyssey Sims, someone that's gonna be in your space and guard you 94 feet. Like that's my concern. But outside of that, like having her as like the backup, I love it. Like I think she did great in the minutes that she was given. She took advantage of her opportunities. And for me, I think the biggest difference, two reasons why the Chicago Sky won this game. I think the biggest difference were they finally got production from the bench. 36-2, they outscored Connecticut. And then
That's
after that,
wow.
36-2.
That's wow.
They had great production for, I mean, 16 for, I mean, they had great production from the bench, 16 from Haley Van Lith. So, but then also they just shot the ball better. They just got better looks and shot the ball better. They shot 42% from the field and 35% from deep. And they've been shooting the ball terribly collectively. Last week I mentioned on, I think, Twitter or maybe my other podcast that 4 or 5 players on the Chicago Sky were shooting their career lows. Like out of their entire career, they were shooting at their career lows. So it wasn't just like, oh, Angel shooting poorly. No, everyone on the roster is shooting poorly. So I'm glad Tyler was able to get them in spots so that they could succeed against the Connecticut Sun. But I also want to, I know we kind of touched on Sanaya Rivers. I think personally the game would have been a little bit different with her playing because she has been great on both ends of the floor for Connecticut.
For
Like
sure.
her length, her athleticism, her playmaking, like her ability to get into the pass lanes and steal the ball. Like she's just been great. So I just wanted to give her flowers. And just always want to shout out to her because I know she's going through a lot personally. So overall, great game for Chicago. I think it's a game to just continue to try to stack more wins on. I'm not saying it's a Connecticut team, so I'm not saying like, oh, they're going to be contenders, but it's definitely a feel good game because they desperately needed this win. They desperately needed it.
Yeah, and one thing that I want to mention from a Sanaya Rivers standpoint, I'm always going to mention this, and I'm always going to shout him out. Shout out to Jay. When we did our mock draft, we had a full-fledged discussion. It wasn't even like a debate. Like it was a full-fledged discussion on Sanaya Rivers and her potential fit in
Yeah.
Chicago. Like we thought
Mm.
about that, and we were like, "Yo, like." She will look very, very nice alongside an Angel,
Mm.
alongside a Camilla, because she can play the point forward spot. She can defend with the best of them.
He's athletics.
So very, very athletic. Very, to me, a very underrated shooter. Once her confidence level is up with her jump shot, you can't stop her from a jump shot standpoint. So we really tinkered at that idea once Chicago traded with Minnesota.
Yeah.
So we really, really thought that she would definitely look good in a Chicago Sky jersey. But as you mentioned, you always want to shout out Sanaya, me as well. And again, we hope that she's getting back to that space. We all know how that is,
Yeah.
from that situation. So of course, continued thoughts and prayers for sure, because we can't wait to see you back on the court, Sanaya. But
Listen, when that jump shot get
yeah,
consistent,
it's going to be all man is going to be curtains. I really think that Sanaya Rivers can become an all W type of player
I
in
agree.
her career. Like
I
she
agree.
is going to be like honestly, there were a number of teams that needed Sanaya Rivers in that first round. Like there were a number of them.
Yeah.
Um, you know, again, thankfully she comes to Connecticut, and I think
It seems
Connecticut
like
will
she's
will
enjoying it
build.
too.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, shout out to Sanaya, but even a bigger shout out to Angel because me bounds, me bounds, me bounds. That's trademark now. So
Yep.
all the trolls
Just put more money in her
just
pockets.
putting more money in her pocket. So shout out to me bounds, me bounds, me bounds.
As the
Like
kids
that's
say, clock it.
you know, hey, I I like it. Like me bounds, me bounds.
Yep. That was
I
it's
like
actually
it.
it's actually clever. I ain't gonna hold you. It's clever.
Like, love it. So shout out to Angel for sure. But this is a team that I really want to see, you know, get back to what we know. A Chicago Sky team I know is going to be incredibly difficult. But looking at this Connecticut Sun game, it gave you that feeling that they can be. Especially Haley Van Lith. I gotta shout you out, Haley. For sure. Salute to you. Because like that game, you found it. Like it was
Yeah.
clicking for you. So
I
consistency is
need Michaela to get more minutes
yes,
though.
she need you know what? 2 minutes. Michaela Onyenwere needs more minutes because
Yeah.
I feel like every time she steps on the floor, she is productive. Like seriously, like for real. Come on, stop playing with her. Stop playing with her. I really really enjoy her game, and even in the little bit of minutes that she's seen in her last 2 or 3 years, again, every time she steps on the floor to me, she's somewhat productive.
Yeah.
So she needs more minutes. They need to find that pocket where she plays that three, that small forward, power forward position. Like they have to find some pockets with that. And hopefully they do. So shout out to her for sure. But final topic, and it's something that was brought to my attention on Saturday. And I found out today that it was a propaganda tactic. And I want to apologize in advance because I don't normally discuss propaganda. I don't normally do all of the rage bait type debating and who's number one type stuff. But there was just a whole lot of discourse where I don't disagree with the discourse. I just think that as of right now, one player is above the other player. So, what am I talking about, K. Dot, you ask? I'm talking about looking at the big picture, right? We're talking about a debate that has gotten louder and louder since pretty much the first 11 games of the season. Who's the best player in the world right now? Is it Asia Wilson or is it Napheesa Collier? Now, again, I don't have a dog in this fight because my dog is on top, top, top. Can't take her spot, spot, spot. Like, I'm sorry, not sorry. I personally think, and this is my opinion and no one else's, I just think can Nafisa Collier get there? No question. Is she front running for the MVP conversation in 2025? No question. Is she elite? No question.
Yeah.
But the idea of just automatically playing with this or seeing this new shiny toy, if you will, and saying, oh, Woody is out of the window. Let me play with Buzz Lightyear right quick. Me personally, I'm just saying, let's kind of slow down a little, just a little bit. Let's brand newbie in this thing right quick and slow down because I think that It's a proper discussion. I love it. Whoever you choose, that's who you choose, but when we get into these types of discussions and debates, like you can talk about stats, you can talk about accolades. I don't care what you do, but the eye test for me always kind of factors in a little bit more than what advanced analytics looks like, than what advanced stats looks like. Like there's different situations, different scenarios that we're talking about. Like Asia is playing in one type of system. Napheesa Collier is playing in another type
Mm-hmm.
of system. You're debating, okay, if we flip systems, like how, will it work? Like there's a whole bunch of ifs, and if was a fifth, I would be drunk. So let's look at what's in front of us. And right now, when we're talking about best in the world, to me, I think it's Asia Wilson. Three-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year twice, back-to-back
Should have been
champion,
three.
Finals MVP, and then you mentioned should have been three. Like that brings that argument down, a little bit further. Now, Napheesa Collier, hey, no slouch, not at all. Defensive Player of the Year last year. Was in the running for MVP. She was Commissioner's Cup MVP. But my thing is this, y'all. Like from a separation standpoint, like look at what Asia has done, and then like you can't talk about, oh, don't mention accolades because that's all kind of like media biased or media driven. So why are we playing the game? Like why are the players working their behinds off to get the accolades and to convince a lot of these media members or coaches or whoever does the voting? And mind you, the voting is not pristine, is not perfect, because we've seen some instances where someone should have been MVP and they weren't. And one of those players is Asia Wilson. I'm sorry.
Should be four.
I'm sorry. Could we argue that Nafisa had a spectacular year last year? Yeah, but could you compare it to the historic season that Asia Wilson had? No, you can't. You really can't. Um, a lot of people are looking at it from a playoff standpoint, what she did in the 2024 playoffs. Um, you want to try to kind of take a step back and say, oh, well, look at what she did in 2023. Well, she wasn't in the MVP conversation like that until maybe like closer to the end of the year. When remember in 2023 they started, if I'm not mistaken, they started like 0 and 6 in scratch and
She
clawed.
wasn't in the conversation. Let's keep it a buck. She was not
Like
in the conversation 2023. It was AT, Stewie, and Aisha. Fee
and
was not Fee
and
was
Stewie
nowhere
and
near the
Stewie ended up and
conversation.
Stewie ended up winning that
Right. And
MVP
it
if
should
I'm
have
not
been
mistaken,
Asia's.
right?
And I've been
And it
very
should have
clear
been
about it. It should
Asia's.
have been Asia's.
So this is my thing with the whole situation. Like, okay, fine. You win. You like the shiny new toy. You win. Okay, fine.
They're not gonna like that comparison, K that
Fine. You
that
like the shiny new
analogy.
toy. You love it. She beautiful on and off the court. You love
Yeah.
it. You love it. But it's recency bias, y'all.
Yeah.
It's what have you done for me lately, y'all? And it sucks that we have to get into that type of conversation, because a lot of what people are going to say is, well, you haven't mentioned a lick about stats. I'm not going to mention a lick about stats because y'all can go and look that up for yourself, and you will probably clearly see that someone clocks better than the other. Like I don't have to prove that. Like you can go on StatHead, you can go on Basketball Reference, you can go on Cerebro Sports. Like you can go on all of these, websites and look at all of these stats. And Fee clears Asia in steals and free throw percentage
That's
for the
it.
for the for the most part, right? Like for the most part. Everything else, we're talking about defensive statistical impact. Like let me talk about defensive statistical impact for a minute because Napheesa Collier's defensive player of the year campaign, which she did deserve that trophy. Like she won that. Like they look at different analytical stats, like I'll give you an example, like a warp. Oh, like a war, not warp, like a war or a VORP or LeBron. Like there's literally a analytical stat called like they look at all of those type of stats on the defensive end, and we crunch in all of these numbers, and you say, oh, okay, well, because when you look at it on film, Napheesa Collier takes up a little bit more space on the perimeter, and she steals just a little bit more. She gets her fingertips on the ball a little bit more. She talks a little bit more on the defensive end, but you fail to realize that the entire team was probably top five in defensive efficiency, and without Fee, that number doesn't drop too far. But when you look at it from an Asia standpoint, when Asia is out and you look at that defensive efficiency, it goes from like a 93 to a 112.
Come on now.
So I didn't want to get into the stats, but y'all made me. So now you're gonna listen to the professor talk to y'all a little bit. But again, that's neither here nor there because Nafisa Collier won the Defensive Player of the Year, and that's congratulations to her. That's no shade, no tea.
Yeah.
That's just me. So I'm just saying when we're talking about this whole best in the world, like it's cool. But for me, best in the world right now sits in Asia Wilson's hands. We talked about in 2018 and 2019 how Stewie was sitting at the best in the world and Asia was climbing up there. She was getting there. And in
Mm-hmm.
2020, the Wubble season, she finally gets that MVP. But Stewie won the championship.
Mm-hmm.
You can have all the MVPs all you want. You can do all this, that, and the third. Individual stats all you want.
It don't mean
But
nothing if you don't got a
Stewie
ring.
still clears you. It don't mean nothing until you get that ring. And Stewie already
Yep.
got two of them. Stewie had an MVP in 2018. She came in the league in 2016, 2 years after.
Yeah.
So Stewie cleared Asia. I didn't hear a whole lot of argument of the very next season Asia just cleared best in the world after she won that MVP and
Right.
lost the finals.
Right.
My problem is why are we getting this with Nafisa Collier? Because again, she's getting there. But again, she also lost the finals to who? Brianna Stewart.
Yep.
But coming into this season, again, averaging almost 26 and a half points per game, 9 boards, 3.5 assists, guarding 1 through 4. Her mid range has been butter. She's
Yep.
dragging defenders into foul trouble nightly. I get that. But it's 11 games in the season, y'all. It's 11 games into the season, y'all. Can we not just wait until maybe August, September to at least have the conversation? Like, I'm not saying to dead it. I'm not saying to dead the conversation at all. But from the things that I had been hearing, I'm like, yo, let's slow down just a little bit. Just a little bit. And I know I went on my soliloquy because we talked about this offline and I get and everybody who has been responding in rebuttal, dog, y'all are absolutely right. I'm not saying y'all wrong at all because I ain't that type of person. Like y'all are not wrong at all. But I'm just saying, y'all, why so fast?
Yeah.
That the shiny new toy looks that good. We didn't do. I promise you, y'all. If y'all were with us in 2018 and in 2019 and in 2020, I swear to you, we were not doing this. Me included, because I thought Asia could get there. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I didn't think Asia would be this.
I didn't either. I really didn't.
I didn't. I thought that she would be easily a top 15 player at the end of her career. Dog, she is now at the pinnacle of top three, top two, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Right now, I didn't expect her to be that. I expected her to be that top 15 play. Literally, I did not expect a 3-time MVP. I expected maybe one or two. I didn't expect a multiple defensive player of the year. I expected one because to be honest with you, Asia wasn't known for her defense either.
Yep.
And she would admit that.
Yep. Don used to be on that ass about rebounding. And
I
he
expected her to win one. I didn't expect her to go back to back. So she's exceeding all of these expectations and has become such a pivotal part in not only the WNBA, but basketball, period. Like she's etched her name in those Candace Parker
yeah,
names, Cheryl Swoops names, Cynthia Cooper
Cooper.
names,
Yeah.
Diana Taurasi names, Brianna Stewart names,
Yeah.
Rebecca Brunson, Maya Moore, Simone Augustus, Sylvia Fowles, Yolanda Griffith, Lauren Jack. Like she's etched her name, Sue Bird. She's etched her name in these conversations, y'all. So all I'm saying
And
is,
by year 8.
another fact. Asia is only 1 month and a couple weeks older than Napheesa. Put that on stats. Uh, that's a fact. Asia was born in August. Napheesa was born in September, same year. They're both 28. And again, y'all talk about accolades, accolades, accolades don't mean nothing. But how do you get into the Hall of Fame? There has to be some type of accolades. Like even the best scorers had accolades. That's why they call it a scoring champion. And that's why you got a lot of these guys in the Hall of Fame because they were scoring champions.
Yeah.
But I've said enough, Lo.
I mean, no, you did a great job. I mean, I'll add a few things to it, but I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I think to be honest with you, I don't understand the conversation. So you're a little bit nicer to me when it comes to that. Because there's never been a season where Napheesa Collier was better than Asia Wilson. It has not been one season. So I'm confused on how do we skip from like how do we skip a step to her automatically going to the best in the world? She's never had a season where she was better than Asia ever. Like, if anything, this season in the first 11 games is her first time showing that she's playing better than Asia right now. And it's for a number of reasons. Asia's team is trash, respectfully, the Aces, sorry fans, but they're trash. Um, is now in concussion protocol, so she's missing multiple games. But that's neither here nor there. So I was shocked that this was even a conversation because when we're talking about best in the world, when you put them head to head, it's not close. And that's no disrespect to Napheesa Collier and her skill set because I think she is, and I think this is the thing. When people are saying that Napheesa isn't the best in the world, we're not saying she's trash at all.
At all.
I think
Where y'all
she
get that from?
right, like, and people get so defensive, like, oh, she is good. Nobody said, listen, I think she is the second best player in the WNBA. She just not first, in my opinion. Like, that's just me. I mean, that is just my opinion.
And
And
if you want
so,
to talk
go ahead.
about cleared, I'm sorry, but if you want to talk about cleared, yeah, there's one, there's two, and then to me, this is just to me. There's one, there's two, and then there's everybody else.
Yeah.
That's just me. But continue. I'm
Yeah,
just
so
saying.
when you look at it from like a when you look at it from a team centric standpoint, right? I'm gonna break it down in a few points. When you look at it from a team centric standpoint, Asia is leading the Aces in every major statistical category: points per game, rebounds per game, assists per game, steals per game, and blocks per game. But this is the most important part: while being doubled and triple teamed, something that Napheesa Collier does not see, and it's not her fault that she doesn't see it. It's because her team is way better than the Aces. The Lynx are shooting the highest percentage from the field at 47%. And they're shooting the highest percentage from long distance at 38%. So you cannot double Napheesa Collier because her teammates are going to make the shots. So the fact that Asia is leading in every major statistical category while being doubled and triple teamed, it is levels. And I don't think y'all understand that. Like, it is levels. Like, she is not seen one-on-one at all. Like, she's not seen single coverage at all. It's always a body. And even if they're not coming to her immediately when they get the ball, it's going to be a delayed double. It's going to be something where she is seeing multiple bodies. So from the link standpoint, Napheesa's leading them in points per game, rebounds per game, and steals per game. Overall, Asia and Napheesa are they're both tied at number two for steals per game in the whole WNBA. They're both tied at number two. So, in regards to importance to your team and what you're doing for your team, Asia clears that because she's leading them in every statistical category. That's number one. Number two, you already touched on the K dot, the accolades. Professionally, they're not even close. Like they're not even close. And I do get it. As a mom, I sympathize with Napheesa because she did have to come back from childbirth, and that's hard. So it's even more impressive that she's playing at this elite level after giving birth to a whole child. Like for me, somebody that has given birth, I can't even fathom coming back and being a professional athlete. So I'm going to take my hat off to her for that. But when we talk about accolades, it's not even close. Like, what are we doing? It's not even close because you're talking about three MVPs. It should be four. You talking about two? You talking about two championships? And when you say the championships, you got to make it clear that it was back to back because that's even harder. And you got to make it clear that when they beat New York, they did it with two starters out, bro. But y'all want to tell me she not the best player in the world? Let's just and let's just keep talking, right? Let's just keep talking. When we talking about the Olympics, the best athletes all over the world come there. Who led that team in the Olympics? Asia Wilson. Who scored the most points in the Olympic game when they played France? Yes, I know Ka came in and had big minutes off the bench. Know that. Okay, great. We already know that. But Asia Wilson, 21 points, 13 boards. Anytime Cheryl Reeves needed a bucket, who did she go to? Did she go to her player? No. She went to the best player in the world. The best player in the world. So you can't tell me the Olympics was last summer. You cannot tell me, y'all telling me from the 11 games this girl played this year, y'all telling me that she's the best player in the world because of the 11 games from this season. Man, fuck no. Hell no. Excuse my French, but hell no. Like, y'all are tripping. Now, if you want to say Napheesa Collier has had the best season so far and is the MVP right now, I don't have any problems with that. I agree 100%. But when you start
Thousand.
talking about
Yep.
the best in the world, we already saw who the ball went to in the crunch when it was when it was time to go down to win the Olympic gold medal. So when we're talking about on a world stage, Asia clears. When we're talking about accolades, Asia clears. And we're talking about importance to your team, Asia clears. So again, I'm not understanding why we're having this conversation prematurely. I just don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's really nothing else to say after that. Because like how is it that what is that thing like Buster was like get low bust. Like I'm the get low, no pun intended, and low is to turn it up because like we can end it like right there. Again, I love what and by the way, um this is kind of like a subtle shout out, not really, but I can remember in 2024, we did a code name Links, and I could remember talking with someone about Napheesa Collier and saying that Napheesa Collier was next up.
Yeah.
I can vividly remember that, and I remember that because uh that podcast alone had like over like 3,500 like views.
Yeah.
So everybody saw what we were talking about. Um, so that's not, I say that to say that there's no discredit to what Napheesa Collier has
None
done
at
in
all.
2025 at all. Like she, to me, right now, to me, she's definitely like she's number one. MVP, we talk about MVP race.
Yeah.
She's number one. She's doing it in wins, in win shares. She's doing it in PER. Like she is there. But I thought there was a little bit more criteria when it came to best of the world, like best in the world. Like I truly, me personally, I truly thought there was some decorum. I thought people were smarter than that. I lied to myself and gave y'all the benefit of the doubt. And I am sick to my stomach for allowing myself to believe such dummies. Are you dumb? Yes, you are. So, with that being said, good night, everyone. This has been Keeping It 9450, code name WBB. I am your host, Kevin K. Lewis, and to the left of me, or to the right of me, if you're in a mirror version, is none other than the most efficient, the most electric, the most eccentric co-host ever. Low, low bike.
Period.
Make sure y'all follow us on Twitter at the 9450, on TikTok at the 9450, on YouTube, same thing. On Instagram at the 9450 underscore. Make sure you follow Lolo at Lolo Bike.
Yeah.
Make sure you follow myself at k.lu3h. Shout out to you, DA. Make sure you follow him at the Artest Effect. Make sure you follow 21 Titles at
Shout out to
21 Titles.
Shantae and Brittany doing their
Shout out to
biggest.
Shantae and Britt doing they big one. I appreciate y'all so much. The network is thriving, growing a lot. We really, really appreciate all of our listeners out there. We appreciate the fans of ours out there. We also appreciate the ones that want to debate with us out there, even though y'all gonna lose. We clear y'all like Asia does. Anyway, we really, really, truly, truly appreciate everyone out there. Make sure you guys go check us out. We're on YouTube, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify. Make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure y'all follow us. We're at 500 plus subscribers on YouTube. Thank you guys so much. We really, really appreciate it. We will be getting some more stuff going on the Patreon. We got some stories for y'all. We got some giveaways for y'all. But like, please be patient with us. We are still kind of working out our logistics kinks and all of our we're trying to work all of that stuff out. Like we're literally trying to work all of that stuff out.
I
We
may or may not have a pair of Asians to give away too.
mm,
May
mm,
or may not. It depends on how you
mm.
act.
Yeah, right. It depends on how y'all act. Like we gotta treat y'all like kids. That's crazy. But again, we really, really appreciate y'all. What you got to say before we head on out, Lo?
Um, it's always a good time to come and talk basketball with one of my favorite basketball minds. Follow me on TikTok. Apparently, I'm on TikTok now, so I'm hoops with low.
Yes.
Also,
Yes.
everybody that's listening to this, I need you to do me a favor. People are impersonating me. I need you to go block Lolo
For
Bike.
real.
BYK. The E is a three. So LOLOBYK3. Please block them, y'all. Please.
Yeah. Block. Block. I try to report every day, but they ain't doing nothing.
Yeah,
But
that's what I
still,
meant.
like, just
Report. Yeah,
continue,
they
like,
Elon done ruined this
continue to
app,
do that.
child. He done ruined
Like,
that app.
continue to do it. Continue to do it because impersonate. First off, impersonating is whack. Especially when you got like horrible propaganda that you're trying to throw out. Like, you got to impersonate somebody to get your point across. You whack for that. You a hoe for that. Come see me. You a hoe. Whoever's doing it, you a hoe.
Oh, K Dot turned up. Y'all done got K Dot turned up today, child.
Come talk to me. I'm at the Plaza Hotel. Shout out. Oh, shout out to Made for the W, yo. This is a dope fitted, like for real, for real.
And shout out to
Shout
the
out to
Dream. I know we gotta
yeah,
get up out of here, but shout out to the lady Dream. And shout out to Carl Schmecko. How you say it? Schmesco?
Smesco.
Schmesco. There we go. I don't know.
Shout out
That's
to
like the man's
shout out to
name.
the Dream for sure, yo.
Yeah.
Yo, Alicia Gray, yo, you
MVP
want some MVP?
conversation
Yeah, you want some MVP talks too.
for sure.
Ryan Howard just went off.
Only guard shooting over what, 50% from the field, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, like killing.
Just
Like Smesco got him.
wait till both of them go off on the same at the same time because they both like one plays really good one game and the other is like subpar. Wait till they both go off. I can't wait for it. It's gonna
Oh
be
my
great hoops.
God. Oh
Great
my
hoops.
God. I can't wait for it either. But yo, listen, love you guys. Love is love. Peace out. Make sure y'all be kind, even
Yeah.
though I wasn't kind to y'all tonight. Like, be kind.
It's a lot going
But
on in the world, y'all. Just be kind. You never know.
definitely a lot
You
going on in the
never know
world.
what somebody's going through. Just try to leave with grace. I know it's hard sometimes, but try to leave
Yeah,
with grace.
that's a fact. And we'll leave it at that. Listen, again, love you guys. Peace out.